That let call made on the final point. Leighton Hewitt now with the opportunity to serve out the second set.
That's one way to return serve. Step in and take it on the rise.
A little bit of anger in that backhand too, I think. Just gave that one a little bit extra. Oh, too good. Hewitt not doing enough with the volleys. He had two opportunities, good opportunities at that.
Low 30.
And you can't give someone like Jason Stoltenberg that many chances to pass you, because finally he'll get you, and he did. When under pressure you go for your best shots, and that's Leighton Hewitt's best serve out wide. Oh no.
15.
Really got himself all mixed up there. Just couldn't make up his mind which shot to play, and in the end chose the wrong one, going for a very delicate drop shot. Just wasn't on. Actually slipped a little bit as he was moving back and away. So Jason Stoltenberg with 2 break points. There was some weird stuff going on out there right now. Lots and lots of pressure on both players for various reasons. Stoltenberg hitting that forehand along by 4 or 5 meters. A very, very wild shot. Still has one more break point.
On the back foot throughout that rally, Leighton Hewitt, and it was only the forehand into the net that saved him. Back to deuce now.
Stoltenberg did everything right. Hewitt was doing all the scrambling at that point.
And he's showing his fighting qualities here.
Oh, it's a bad first serve. Just hitting a slow kicker. Stoltenberg's backhand's not going to pay too many dividends. That really was a bit of a gift. Stoltenberg just stepping in and going crunch. Sets up another break point.
Pressure is a funny thing, Brad. We were seeing it on Jason Stoltenberg.
Yeah, look at that one. That's wild. Nowhere near the court. Catching it late. And again.
Advantage Hewitt.
Set point now for Leighton Hewitt. After surviving a number of break points in a topsy-turvy set, he has the chance to level at 1 set all here.
Leighton Hewitt giving Stoltenberg a bit of applause. It was a terrific return. He put quite a bit on that first serve, and Stoltenberg getting every piece of his racket on it.
Sensational tennis here. Stoltenberg looked like he was out of the point, then Hewitt, and he finally came up with a lunge volley to bring up his second set point.
Boris Becker would have been happy with this lunge volley. Full stretch. Look at this one. What a good athlete. Oh, great stuff. Talk about commitment. Whatever it takes.
Second set, Hewitt, 6 games to 3.
Absolute grit from Leighton Hewitt wins the day in the second set.
How to play the game in terms of strategy. You can see there in the middle of that second set, he did start to play a lot more of the balls across to Stoltenberg's forehand, so he's obviously thinking out there in the court as well. So this is all set up for a very, very interesting third set.
Slice backhand. That's a shot that is very difficult to play, a high slice backhand. And he's hit it for a clean winner here.
Well, the thing is here, it's not his normal backhand. He loves the double-hander, topspin or flat. So that's his like third choice backhand. And he played it beautifully. Stoltenberg just a little tentative on that forehand, didn't move his feet at all. Could be a sign of a little bit of nerves, a little bit of frustration. Got to get his thoughts back on track. The wind's really gusting up now all of a sudden, making it difficult for the ball toss.
15-40.
His second error on the forehand side this game. And suddenly 2 break points for Leighton Hewitt in the opening game of the third set.
Stoltenberg really had the opening there. As we see the wind in that flag really has picked up.
Game, Hewitt. First game, final set.
Well, a little fist punch by Hewitt signalled the way he's thinking about that break of serve. He comes out of the blocks quickly and leads 1-love. 16-year-old could rewrite the record books here at Memorial Drive, serving with a 1-love lead in the third set.
Whoa. Love. 15.
One of the biggest turnarounds in the match in that second set was Leighton Hewitt was able to win a lot of the baseline rallies. He's now won 54% of all the rallies from the baseline.
15.
That figure was about even at the end of the first set. So he's starting to create some dominance now when both players are on the baseline.
Great lob. That is a brilliant shot by Hewitt. And he shows his emotion. 30-15 on his serve, leading 1-love. So a pretty big point.
30-15.
Was a good lob, but Stoltenberg would be disappointed with his effort at the net here. Didn't do enough with the volley, just played it down the middle of the court. You can see there, Hewitt didn't even have to move. The ball played straight back to him.
$40-15.
No, a great passing shot. That is brilliant play from the back of the court from Leighton Hewitt, and he consolidates the break of serve to lead 2-love in the third set. And it really has been a pretty stark turnaround here, Brad. He's taken control and wrestled away from Stoltenberg in the match.
Yes, both players were in the trenches in the middle of that second set, going toe-to-toe, and Leighton Hewitt came out on top.
Ball.
The umpire once again overruling, and this is not going to make Stoltenberg happy at all. There was a call earlier in the second set on a let that Jason was none too happy about. So he's starting to lose a little bit of confidence in the umpire. The umpire can overrule on a clear mistake. Definition of what's clear? Well, it's not clear itself.
Love 15.
Most umpires will only overrule if the ball is out by a third of a metre, that being the definition of clear. I shouldn't say the definition of clear is a third of a metre, but that's the normal interpretation of the rule by most umpires.
Straight down the tee for Stoltenberg, and Hewitt looked pretty carefully at the line. It was just caught the outside of the line. And he put away the volley.
Very dangerous time now for Jason Stoltenberg. He's already down a break in his third set. He cannot afford to lose his serve again.
Great shot by Stoltenberg on the run, and he just crunched the forehand down the line to bring up game point, and that was a big shot under pressure.
It certainly was. Under an awful lot of pressure. A little bit of risk in that shot, but it paid some dividends.
Unusual. That's an unusual way to close the game, and a top spin forehand volley. Was the youngest ever winner, 16 years and 7 months. Hewitt is 16 years and 11 months. And Chang, of course, a Grand Slam winner. Hewitt ranked 550 in the world. He leads 2-1 in the third set with a break of serve.
15 love.
He moulded that point beautifully, Leighton Hewitt.
30 love.
And coming in to drive the backhand, Stoltenberg didn't have the answer. And he's a lovely contrast, Brad, because in his press conferences he tells everybody how in awe he is of his opponents, but when he's on the court, there's no such attitude.
No, he's a very self-confident young man. He has a great belief in his abilities.
$30-50.
Young man who has a poster of Andre Agassi in his bedroom. What a great moment for him yesterday when he defeated his idol.
Second serve ace, and we saw twice yesterday against Agassi. He came up with big serves on the second serve.
This takes a lot of confidence. It's also something when you're young you don't think as much as when you get older, and you can go for those sort of shots. Later on you learn the percentages.
Game. Good.
Good solid serving game from Leighton Hewitt. 3-1. He leads in the third set.
He continues to serve wide here on the first court. As I mentioned before, something like 75% of the balls he serves on the first court go out wide. That's a big number.
Love 50.
I just get the feeling a little bit Jason Stoltenberg has gone a little flat out there. He's lost his way, lost a little bit of concentration. He doesn't have a lot of time to pull himself together. He's living in the danger zone right now, already down a break. Still plenty of time to come back, but he certainly can't afford to lose serve again. Got to get himself pumped up again. Just a number of errors flowing from the racket now. Double faults on the forehand side, even some backhands. Oh, Hewitt grabbing his cap there in frustration. He knew if he made that shot, he could have had what would virtually be 2 match points. It would have been for 2 breaks and a 4-1 lead in the third. That's good tennis. Gives Stoltenberg a very valuable game point.
Wrong footing. His opponent there, Jason Stoltenberg, going back behind him and holding serve, but Hewitt winning the second set 6-3. The umbrella not for rain, but the heat at Memorial Drive, 33 degrees in Adelaide today.
Love 50.
Well, we haven't seen Hewitt miss that backhand, that shortish backhand, since the first set where he missed 3 or 4. Doesn't quite get his feet right up to the ball to play it properly.
True.
48.1 degrees on court. Feeling the heat this particular game is Hewitt, down love 30, leading a break in the third set. Just chatting to himself, trying to get the fire back. Stoltenberg with a chance here.
Oh, great shot. 2 in a row. The backhand's down the line.
Love.
Gives Jason Stoltenberg a terrific opportunity to get back into this third set. 3 break points, just like the previous point. Rips it down the line. Really a great angle created on this double-handed backhand by Leighton Hewitt. He whipped the racket head around the ball. You can see Jason Stoltenberg really pulled right off the court. No hope of controlling the ball.
Game. Stoltenberg.
So Stoltenberg breaks back. 3 games on the third set.
Bit of a sloppy game by Leighton Hewitt. He started the game with an unforced error and finished the game with a similar error off the backhand side. And you can't afford to go around giving someone like Jason Stoltenberg belated Christmas presents.
Love.
3 points in the third set. Truly valuable.
Love.
It's almost out of nowhere. There's a bit of a momentum shift out there on court now. Leighton Hewitt's berating himself.
40.
Jason Stoltenberg serving aces.
Well, Brady's played a lot of hard matches this week, the youngster. And I suppose everybody's expected him at some stage to crack under the pressure. He hasn't. And Stoltenberg putting him right under the pump in the third set.
Game. Stoltenberg. Ball
So he
change.
rules off 2 games.
Stoltenberg leads.
Jason Stoltenberg to lead 4 games.
This is a guy who's having his first tournament since coming back from a very bad injury. And to be in the final and leading 4-3 in the third set is a monumental effort in itself. Well, chipping and charging again, Jason Stoltenberg. He's won the points and most of the time he's done that. Really puts the pressure straight on Leighton Hewitt. I'm sure Hewitt thought that ball was going in.
15 all.
Stoltenberg not holding back on that backhand, really letting it go. Only just clipping the net. Hewitt's going to have to pick up his second serve. It served him so well over the last, well, all week long actually, but certainly yesterday and today, but it's starting to drop a little bit short. And you can see Stoltenberg starting to move in and really getting a good hit at the second serve.
40-15.
It's only Leighton Hewitt's third ace.
Hewitt. So Hewitt grips it out to hold serve and level this final at 4 games all in the third set. So 1 set all and 4 all. Even Stevens.
Well, it doesn't get much closer than this, and what an exciting match. Almost a full house here. The covered stand is absolutely packed. The open stand 80% full.
15 love.
One of the biggest crowds we've seen in Memorial Drive for a long, long time. And they really are seeing a great final. Just a step or two too slow getting to the net. It was the right idea.
15.
Managed to push Hewitt back behind the baseline. Just needed to be a little bit closer. A little bit closer to the net to play that volley.
Oh, great backhand by Stoltenberg.
It really is a shot he can trust under pressure. Saw the previous point, he'd rip one cross court, and that's the one down the line. Very hard to play against when you know your opponent can hit a particular shot just as well both ways.
Game, Stoltenberg.
So a mistake on the forehand side from Hewitt.
Stoltenberg leads.
Sees Stoltenberg holding serve to lead.
I doubt whether anyone's actually won an event in their first 2 events, let alone their first. So what a fantastic talent Leighton Hewitt is.
Oh, that's a cold winner from the back of the court. And he really is starting to crank up on the backhand in the third set.
Well, Leighton Hewitt started to pinpoint his attack a lot to the forehand in that second set. He's starting to drift back across to Stoltenberg's backhand, and he's paying a pretty heavy price. Time to serve straight down the middle. Leighton Hewitt's preferred forehand is the off forehand, which would go to Stoltenberg's backhand. but twice in a row you can see in this point he's gone back to the forehand side.
Come on!
38.
That just opens the door for Stoltenberg. A point away from match point. And if ever there is a pressure moment, it's now for Leighton Hewitt.
Well, how cool is that?
40.
It might be 48 degrees on court, but Leighton Hewitt is a very, very cool customer. Now has a point to tie it up at 5 games all in the third.
Hewitt.
So it's a battle of attrition out there.
5 games all.
Century heat on court, and you can see the expression on Leighton Hewitt. It's 5-all in the third set.
Leighton Hewitt very disappointed at missing that shot. He had the opening, really should have made it. Bit of a let off for Jason Stoltenberg.
This match in progression for 1 hour and 58 minutes.
40.
3 pretty easy points for Jason Stoltenberg. It's hot out there, and you'll love the fact he's got the opportunity for a nice quick game on serve.
Game, Stoltenberg.
So Stoltenberg holds serve to love.
Stoltenberg leads 6 games to 5.
Leads 6-5.
Jason Stoltenberg does a lot of that, but there's nothing like the combat of actual competition.
So the moment of truth for Leighton Hewitt, serving to remain in this final, down 6 games to 5.
Well, that one, a complete shank off the frame by Stoltenberg. Just not getting his feet over to the ball. Ace number 4. Right on the line, very accurate. That's a hallmark of his service style. So it's very close to the lines.
Well, he pulled his opponent way out of court and crunched the winner down the line to set up 3 game points.
Well, this is the one that hurt. Jason Stoltenberg having to work very hard just to get out to that ball, and there was no way he was coming back.
Game, Hewitt.
So this final goes into a tiebreaker, and Leighton Hewitt shows quite dramatically he's not going away.
Well, yesterday against Andre Agassi, he won 2 tiebreakers. In both occasions, he jumped out to a very early lead. Hardly made any errors in the tiebreakers, and that's what he'll be looking to do again today. Once again, the footwork letting down Stoltenberg. But a pretty standard shot, just didn't move his feet.
1-0, Hewitt.
And Leighton Hewitt gets a little mini break. He leads 1 love. with 2 serves to come. Stoltenberg just stopping play, wiping some sweat out of his eyes.
Aggressive return of serve by Stoltenberg.
1-all.
It's a return of serve that set up the point. Capitalising on it, moving to the net.
Pretty happy, and why wouldn't they be?
They're going to be very proud of what their son's done out there today.
2-1 Hewitt.
Win or lose.
On the edge of their seats as this final goes down to a tiebreaker 2-all, and a cold ace there from Stoltenberg. So 3-2 he leads.
3-2 Stoltenberg.
And suddenly the pressure back on Hewitt to hold his 2 serves.
Stoltenberg.
Well, Hewitt earlier in the match succeeded when he did this diving leap. This time it's not paying off. Very hard to keep control of the racket head when you're in full flight like that. Almost did it, didn't miss by much. Players changing ends after 6 points. Just toweling down, making sure the grip nice and dry so it doesn't slip.
4-3 Stoltenberg.
Stoltenberg had the short second serve, plenty of time to make a good play on the forehand, just clipping the top of the net. Great relief for Hewitt, I'm sure.
Double fault brings the tiebreaker back to 4-all, and that may be a combination of nerves and exhaustion out there for Jason Stoltenberg.
And also a little bit of sun. He's serving into the sun up there, has to adjust his ball toss. It's never easy.
Great ball. Well, that really is a pressure shot, and he's executed it to perfection, Leighton Hewitt.
Stoltenberg really not doing enough with the volley.
5.
Leighton Hewitt was good enough to take the opportunity. And talk about fired up. He's fired up, Mum and Dad are fired up. The whole crowd on the edge of their seats.
gets out, and that brings up match point for Leighton Hewitt. Well, what would be going through his mind now, Brad? It would just be such a big point for him.
His mind would just be racing 1,000 miles an hour. He's got to refocus, block out the crowd. They're going crazy. Just concentrate on one thing. First serve.
Set match
for the teenage sensation Leighton Hewitt.
3-6, 6-3, 7-6.
He's done it in the most dramatic of fashions, coming back from a set down, and the hope for Jason Stoltenberg. But into the record books for the 16-year-old, who becomes the second youngest winner of an ATP tournament. And Brad, he has confounded critics all week and really polished off his play with a brilliant display of pressure tennis.
Absolutely sensational. What a great boost for Australian tennis. We have Pat Rafter sitting up there at the lofty heights of #2 in the world, and Leighton Hewitt, just at 16 years of age, on his way as well. Just an amazing effort. Mum shakes her head. She can't believe it. No one can believe it. I'm sure she's got some tears in her eyes. She's being congratulated. I'm sure the family home is being inundated with phone calls right now. But that is truly a very exciting moment for Australian tennis. Leighton Hewitt was so cool under pressure all week long. As we mentioned, against Mark Woodford, he was down, he won that match. Against Andre Agassi, Agassi was playing well. He just couldn't put Leighton Hewitt away. He just kept on hanging in. And then also in the final, Jason Stoltenberg played well. But Leighton Hewitt is in the winner's circle.
And he does it in great fashion. Victorious here, 3-6, 6-3, 7-6. Back after this. Back to Memorial Drive, the scene of a dramatic final to the Australian Hard Course Tennis Championships, and a final which saw Leighton Hewitt at 16 years of age victorious, 3-6, 6-3, 7-6. And it really was a great victory, not only for South Australian tennis, but for Australian tennis, because I'm sure they'll have to thumb through the record books. We know Michael Chang at 16 years and 11 months was the youngest, or 7 months was the youngest winner of an ATP event. And Leighton Hewitt is in very smart company. As the match statistics will show the story here, Brad, Hewitt, it was a pretty tight contest in 3 sets.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of statistics. Not a whole lot in these statistics. A very close match, and the first serve percentages very close, around about 60% for both players. Also first serves won, very close to 70% for both players. Stoltenberg served a lot of aces, most of them out wide. Hewitt not really going for aces, more placement in his serves. The net plays, Stoltenberg really did try and force the play at the net and was pretty successful most of the time, but you can see there the winners. Stoltenberg also came up on top, but errors, that's a very clear-cut distinction in favour of Leighton Hewitt, and Stoltenberg making some key errors at the wrong time. Whilst there's only 8 difference there, really it's when you make those errors, and Leighton Hewitt was able to contain his error rate at the right moments.
Well, I'm sure Leighton Hewitt is still on cloud 9 with his first professional victory. Down on courtside for the presentation is our host, Liz Deep-Jones.
Good afternoon and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Liz Deep-Jones from SBS Television. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to the official party, the Deputy Premier of South Australia, the Honourable Graham Ingerson, the Executive Director of Australian Major Events, Mr Bill Spur, the President of Tennis South Australia, Mr Dennis Dahl, the Tournament Director, Mr Colin Stubbs, and Mr Jeff Pollard, the President of Tennis Australia. Well, I'm sure you'll agree Adelaide has turned on perfect weather and hospitality again for the 1998 Australian Men's Hardcourt Championships. Also, we've witnessed some of the most spectacular tennis throughout the week and the start on what is sure to be a most promising career for young Leighton Hewitt. I'd also like to thank the City of Adelaide and all of you that are here today for your support for the tournament. Please give yourselves a round of applause. I'd now like to invite the President of Tennis of South Australia, Dennis Dahl.
Mr. Deputy Premier, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Tennis South Australia, I'd like to thank a large number of people who have been involved to make this by far and away the most outstanding Australian men's hardcourt event Adelaide has held. Firstly, the players. This year, direct participation into the main draw required a world ranking of 87 or better for 32 entrants. Even to play in the qualifying rounds this year, you needed a world ranking of 220. I'm sure you'll agree that we're very fortunate in Adelaide to have so many great players here this week. To all the players, a big thank you. We really appreciate your support. The corporate support this year has been absolutely outstanding. The major sponsors, SunSmart, Pure Milk and Mercedes, and the corporate box holders. Your involvement is also very much appreciated. The public, the gate this year has been 3.5 times what it was last year. The average session attendances were a little over 3,000 in a stadium of 4,000 with 12 sessions. Thank you to the South Australian public. We need your continued support if we are to retain this event and to secure such events as the Davis Cup. To the umpires, the ball persons, the ushers, the medical staff, the stringers, the drivers, the gatekeepers, the office staff of Tennis South Australia and many other volunteers who attended every day and worked very hard during the week, thank you very much. To Colin Stubbs, the tournament director, he's the one who gets the really great players to Adelaide for us. And as I've said before, Colin, we very much enjoy working with you, and please keep coming back with the event. Thank you. The media, SBS, radio and the daily press, thank you all very much. We've complained for some time about not getting the coverage, but those of you who saw the paper this morning saw some of the great shots of Leighton yesterday, and thanks very much to the media. And above all, the financial support from the state government, Sensational Adelaide, Australian Major Events and to Tennis Australia for their financial support. Without this financial support, we couldn't conduct the tournament. Thank you very much. Please show your appreciation to all those people who have worked so hard during the week for the benefit of tennis and for Tennis South Australia. I'd now like to call on the Deputy Premier, Graham Ingerson, to present the runner-up and the Winners' Cup. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennis. Jeff Pollard, President of Tennis Australia, Dennis Stall, President, Tennis South Australia, my parliamentary colleagues, Honourable Alexander Downer, and Minister of Recreation and Sport, Ian Evans, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege for me to be here today representing the government and representing really all South Australians, because one of the things that I think we're all proud of is to be able to put on fantastic events here in sensational Adelaide. And it is tremendous to look around and see the flag flying, and when we watched it on TV to see the presentation of our city going worldwide as it deserves to be. Can I take the opportunity to congratulate the two finalists? It really was a tremendous game of tennis, and it was good to see a young South Australian eventually win. Congratulations to you, Lenton. Congratulations to you, Jason, too, for a tremendous effort. The government... In supporting tennis here in South Australia, it's my privilege today to formally announce a commitment by the government to spend some $3 million here on this stadium in the next 2 years. Those of you standing behind me will be undercover next year, and part of that development comes about because of the tremendous job that Dennis Stall and his committee has done in making sure that tennis here in South Australia again returns to its rightful position as being one of the major tennis centres in Australia. The other reason, of course, we want to do it is that we want to put a lot of pressure on Colin Stubbs to make sure that the National Hardcourt Championship is continued to be played here past 2000 here in South Australia, and I know Colin will, even though he's a Victorian, Colin will make sure that we have all the support we can to keep the event here in South Australia. Through Bill Spur and major events, we intend to continue to support this type of event here in our state, because we believe that whilst we may not be the biggest state in Australia, we do put on the best events, and with the support of our major events group and of course the tremendous backup that Tennis South Australia has given to make sure that this event occurs, we will continue to do it. Thanks very much.
I'd now like to call up the runner-up of the 1998 Australian Men's Hardcourt title, Jason Stoltenberg.
A cheque for 26,000 American dollars. I think that's about 42,000 Australian dollars. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well, Jason, you've had a sensational tournament. You defeated the #1 seed Jonas Bjorkman, who's #4 in the world, and then along the way, the defending champion Todd Woodbridge. What for you was your highlight, I suppose, throughout the tournament?
Well, I think just winning my first round, to tell you the truth. I've had a great week, I really have. You know, it's just been, I came in not really knowing what to expect, and like I said, to win one match was great, and everything from then on was a bonus. So disappointing to have lost today, but you know, I'm very happy with my work this week.
Well, you did have your chance. First set, you did, going quite well, and then Leighton came in and just fought back tremendously in the second and took the tie break.
Yeah, the little bugger. Yeah, it's been another great day for Australian tennis today, and unfortunately it was at my expense, but Leighton, a lot of guys go through their careers without winning an ATP Tour title, and to have won one at 16 is something special. I hope you really enjoy it.
Thank you, Jason Stoltenberg, the runner-up the 1998 Australian Men's Hardcourt title. Thank you, Jason.
I'd just like to add a couple of things. First of all, sensational Adelaide, all the other sponsors, anybody who had anything to do with the involvement of the tournament. It was just run spot on all week. We've had everything we needed done, and it was just fantastic. It's always been a favourite of mine to come here. I've never done well, but hopefully this is the start of something something in the future to come. So to all of you, I mean, this is unbelievable to play in an atmosphere like this. This is Adelaide, and Leighton's from here, and I felt like I got a lot of support. So you did a fair job, so thanks very much. And you know, there have been a lot of people who have been behind me in the past, my wife and my little fella. I mean, it's been a hard time the last few months, and I appreciate her support, and everybody else who pushed me along. So thank you, and see you next year.
For the moment you've all been waiting for, the winner of the 1998 Australian Hardcourt Championships, Leighton Hewitt.
A cheque of $45,000 American or $70,000 Australian. Congratulations.
Premature there. Leighton, how are you feeling? You've had some great wins, Agassi being one of them, and now winning the final against Jason. Is this something you would have ever expected?
No, I was just happy to get a chance into the tournament. Thanks, Colin. And really just playing my second ATP Tour tournament, and I was just happy to win a round like Jason, and then to go on and with it and win it, it's just a great thing.
You certainly really came through on those pressure points. What are you thinking at those crucial moments?
I was just thinking to keep the pressure on him, and Jason's a tough competitor, and I just had to keep the pressure on today, and it came out in my favour.
Now I've heard also that you've decided to leave school to continue your professional tour on the circuit. Is that right?
I think, yeah, now I'll have to have a pretty good think about it, and no, I don't think I'll be going back to school this year.
I don't know if Mum and Dad will be happy about that one. And just finally, I assume this would be your biggest prize cheque. What are you going to do with it?
I'm not really sure. I'll probably buy a few things and probably put the rest in the bank. But I'd just like to thank all the sponsors as well, Sensational Adelaide and all the other sponsors you can see flying around here. And I'd like to thank all the ball kids and linesmen and the chair umpires. I'd like to thank Tennis Australia, Colin Stubbs and all the committee for putting it on this week. It's been a great tournament, and especially like to thank the crowds for coming out and supporting me this whole week. It's been great.
Ladies and gentlemen, Leighton Hewitt, the 1998 Australian Hardcourt Men's Champion. Following tradition, Leighton is also the South Australian Men's Hardcourt, holds the South Australian Men's Hardcourt title. Finally, at each ATP Tour event, there's a nominated charity, and in the case of South Australia, it's the Bone Growth Foundation. I'd like to invite to the microphone the Executive Vice President of the ATP Tour, Michael Duff.
Ladies and gentlemen, One of the things that Leighton will find in him as he embarks on his tennis playing career is that the tour has a rich tradition amongst the players and the tournaments of supporting charities around the world. Since 1990, in excess of $30 million has been donated to worthwhile causes, not just here in Australia but right around the globe. The charity supported by this event, the Bone Growth Foundation, is very near and dear to the heart of the ATP Tour. We've been supporting this charity now for some 4 years. Its patron, in fact, is none other than one of the greats of the game, South Australia's own John Fitzgerald. And so to Dr. Bruce Foster from the Bone Growth Foundation, on behalf of Leighton, Jason and all the stars in the ATP Tour, I'd like to present this cheque, and knowing that it goes to a very worthwhile cause. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Michael, and it's a pleasure to acknowledge the support of the ATP Tour and the players. The charity is all about research, and the inspiration that we've seen with Leighton here today is the sort of thing that inspires our scientists in our research work. I think it is marvellous to have John Fitzgerald's patronage and support, and through that, all the players on the ATP Tour, I thank them very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the presentation proceedings. We'll be back shortly with the men's doubles finals.
So spectacular scenes courtside with Leighton Hewitt holding up the Winners' Cup and a big cheque, his first ATP Championship